Hello and welcome back to the Tin Barn. I'm Pragmatic Lee, and in today's video we're going to attempt to mount this 4" by 6" by 12-foot long I-beam up there. Now I'll show you more about up there in just a minute. Couple things to note before we get over there. In this end, in the bottom plate, we have 2 holes drilled that will match up to a plate that's on the beam 8 foot in under the shoulder. On this end we have a hole through here that will be for the stop to keep the winch from rolling completely off the end. And just beyond middle here we have a lifting eye. So the first thing I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to try to attempt to do this by myself. I know in previous videos I've mentioned or said something about getting my grandson over here with one or more of his friends to help me put this up. But he was busy last weekend, and I'm sure he's going to be busy this coming weekend because today, the date I'm recording this, is his 16th birthday. So I'm pretty sure his upcoming birthday weekend is going to be full as well. Plus the fact, the more I thought about this, the less I wanted those 2 young boys up here with this hanging over their head and not secure yet. I just didn't want to take the chance on one of them getting hurt. So I'm going to attempt to do this by myself, and even if you don't have a 12-foot beam to hang under your tin barn shelter, you might get a couple ideas of working with yourself, by yourself. First thing I'm going to do is try to get this loaded on the back of my pickup so I can back it into place, back it in close to place. I do have my back brace on, by the way. Alright, I'm going to set one of these chairs under the shelter. We'll move over there and I'll show you what we're going to attempt to do. Okay, here's the signal to any demons or whatever that might be out here going to get in my way today. Any bozos, get out of the way. The plate that's up underneath, attached to the beam, is right up here. And if you maybe you can see on camera, there's 2 holes in this. They'll match up with the 2 holes under the bottom of the I-beam. 8 foot away from that, you can see, hopefully you can see some anchor or hanging bolts hanging down there. Of course they're wide apart now. And there's corresponding holes in the top of the I-beam that those go in. I've got my chain hoist temporarily mounted up there with a chain pull between 2 of the rafters, and we're going to use that to lift, hopefully to lift the I-beam in place. Okay, I've got the truck backed under the shoulder a little bit, and what I'm going to do first is attempt to load this, or attempt to lift this at pretty much the center. I've got a strap on here at the center where I welded these 2 pieces together, and I want to lift it here just enough to get the truck out from underneath it, and then we'll go back to our lifting eye. Alright, I think that's close enough. I can set a chair under this end and back the truck out, or pull the truck out. Okay, with this eye about almost 10 to 12 inches beyond center. Of course, it's going to make that end heavier. And the reason I did that, that is where my hoist is hanging from. This is a shed roof on this shelter, meaning it just slants. And so right up here at this point is where I've got the most room for the cable winch or for the chain hoist to hang from. So what I want to do now is actually get the winch set on here. That's going to be the heaviest part. We're going to get the winch mounted on it, and then I'm going to roll it into place, probably along here somewhere, and use it to balance the I-beam on the chain hoist. As I said in the previous video, the winch, the adapter, and the trolley together weigh 65 pounds. I'm going to put the scales, once I get this balanced out, I'm going to put the scales on here to weigh this whole thing. The 12-foot I-beam and the 65-pound combination here. If you got a thought on what you think it will weigh, post me a comment down below on what you think this whole setup is going to weigh. Alright, I got my stool from inside and set under here because I need a little something, obviously, to hold this end up once I put this trolley on. I may need to come back just a little bit. Alright, let's let a little weight down on that now. Now, of course, this end is much heavier now. Before we go any further, we're going to put our stop end down here. This is a half-inch bolt with some spacers on it and a nylon nut. Okay, now is where a third hand would come in pretty good to get this stool out of the way when I take some pressure off of it. But again, I'm working by myself today, so let's try this. Once I get the stool out of the way, I'll let that end down on the chair, just like such. All right, I'm going to take just a little break, come out of this jacket, and work on getting this balanced, and then I'll bring you right back. All right, I've got it, the weight distributed now. One thing I'm not sure if I mentioned it, I did mention between the two beams we're suspending this from was 8 foot, and this was 12 foot. So there'll be about 4 feet of it hanging out here, which is exactly what I wanted, because one of the things I'll be doing with this is pulling the zero-turn mower out here and raising up the front end to change or service the blades. But also, last time my grandson killed a deer, he dressed it underneath the shelter under there, and he cleaned up his mess. But I'd much rather have it out here somewhere, so he'll be able to pull this winch out to the end, put the shackle on there, and pick up a deer. Now, as I say, I've got it balanced now. It's not touching on either chair. What I'm going to do is run some C-clamps, tighten some C-clamps down on each side of it to keep this from moving as we pick it up. All right, I'm going to have to get a little smaller C-clamp. Yeah, I know, different size C-clamps. It's gonna mean I'm not balanced as much anymore. Let's see what that does. Actually need just a little more weight back over here. So let's take this C-clamp. And that's exactly what it needed. All right, both ends are clear now. I'm gonna winch this up just a little bit more. We'll get the chairs in place. All right, I'm gonna let it back down on the chairs and put the scales on it. Again, be thinking about using an online calculator, whatever you want to do. But make me a guess. All right, both ends are clear. Nothing's touching the ground. I'm gonna go write that down before I forget it. It's just a little bit lighter than I thought. About 25 pounds lighter than I expected. All right, let's get on to the serious work of mounting this. All right, that's clear. Nothing's touching the ground or the chairs. I'm going to let this hang here like this and take a little lunch break. And y'all be back in just a couple of seconds, but I'll be back in a few minutes. And we'll start the task of raising this up to height. Okay, it's been hanging here for about 40 minutes now, and nothing is buckled or cracked on my temporary suspension up there. What I'm going to do now, of course, is using the chain hoist, raise it up to the point that I can tilt this end up and get it on that plate up there. Remember I said there was 2 holes drilled in there, and I did a test fit on them while it was on the welding table. But it dawned on me while I was eating that to get those 2 3/8 inch holes lined up perfect with 3/8 inch bolts, or it would have to be perfect to get both of them lined up. If I can get one bolt in there, I'll be happy. That's a 3 inch by 5 inch piece of angle up there, and the only purpose of those bolts is to keep it from falling off or pulling off while I'm working on the hanging bolts on this end. So let's get it up. I've got my rope tied on the end down here to use as a guide, and I'm also gonna, I think, hook it on this C-clamp I got down here, and then I can swing either end. Okay, what the situation is that my lifting eye needed to be about 2 or 3 more inches this way. It's setting on the angle back there. And again, a little bit more manpower, I could probably pull it back in place and drop a bolt in. But as it is right now, I can't pull it and get the bolt in. So let me think about this a little bit and I'll bring you right back. All right, I think I got an idea on, on how I can bolt this end down. Let me get back up here. This is the hole in the I-beam. This is the hole in the angle. So I need to pull the I-beam in this direction some. What I'm going to do is use a ratchet strap, and I will hook it in this C-clamp that I use for weight. All right, I'm feeling good about this end now. And I might be able, with a little alignment, get that one in. Hallelujah, would you look at that? That bolt's a little bit short, but when I get that pulled up to where this is sitting flat, that will be perfectly fine. Now we need to concentrate on that end. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm looking at over there. I think I can take the ratchet strap off now. Sometimes you just got to use your noodle and be a little bit pragmatic about the whole situation. Okay, back here on the outside end, not sure if you can tell by the camera view, but I've run out of chain hoist here. So what I'm going to do is strap it off with that yellow strap you see to the side there. Strap that off, let the tension off the chain hoist. I've got some slack in the chain that's holding it up, so I'll take that slack out and then use the chain hoist to bring it up hopefully high enough to reach those hanging bolts. I left those hanging bolts long, but they're still not quite long enough. So let's see if we can get this in now. I do have this looped back and secured with this clip here. And now the weight is hanging on this strap. And if I could reach it, I could get that slack out of the chain. So stand by. All right, I'm sure some of you are saying to yourself, well, right here's where Lee's going to die. But I have done this, or I did it before when I hung the hoist up there. So let's see. That's what these little extra pipes are for here, is just a little bit of extra hold on. Okay. Oh, did I mention I despise heights? I don't like ladders. I don't like being off the ground whatsoever. Another thing I don't like is working over my head, but you do what you got to do. My right arm's a bit sore today. I got my COVID booster yesterday. All right, I think I'm going to have to move the scaffold over a little bit. But what I'm going to do is get this other set of hanging bolts hooked. It's pretty much hanging on these bolts right now. I still got a little tension on the chain hoist, but as soon as I get these all four in place, I can start tightening them from the top, and then take the chain hoist down. So I'll bring you back shortly. Okay, I got an extra nut and washer in my pocket now, in the event I drop it again. Okay, now that we got it hanging on the hangers, I think we can get a couple things out of the way now. Come back here and get the C-clamp off. And with that out of the way, we can roll the hoist. We don't have to worry about it being balanced anymore. Hello. All right, and I'm pretty confident now that it's hanging on its own. Just took the weight off of the chain hoist. I'm going to leave it there for right now until I get these hanging bolts tightened. All right, I got to get some stuff out of the way. Okay, there just wasn't room for that air ratchet and socket, deep socket on the top side up there. So I got the chain hoist out of the way and just got up there on the scaffolding chair and tightened those with a wrench, got them pulled up tight. I also set back up on the end under the barn and got those two bolts in. I'm going to carry the camera inside and show you the way I did the wiring on my hoist that's inside the tin barn. That's the same thing I'm going to do out here. I just don't have time today, or this video is getting kind of long, so I'll just show you what I did on the other one and come back and do this one off camera. All right, this is a little 220-pound winch that I have mounted on a barn door track inside the barn. You probably can't see it here, but right directly underneath this is a file cabinet with where I keep the 3-jaw, the 4-jaw, the rotary table, any of the accessories that I might put on the lathe, which is right over here, and the mill is back there right beside where the camera's sitting. But I can use this winch to change chucks, take the vise off the mill, put the rotary table on, so forth. Same concept as what's outside. But what I did with the wire, these are just little shower hooks. The shower hooks are rolled. I've got a cable pulled tight back here, just like a clothesline cable. And then about every 3 foot, this extension cord is wire tied onto those, onto the shower curtain hooks. And that's simply, it'll self-store itself and stretch out without getting in the way. Hope you've enjoyed this little segment on working by yourself. I wanted to get that beam up there. little bit more I got to do to it. Like I say, I got to get the wiring hung up there, and I've got some pretty heavy tractor wheel weights, probably about 500 pounds of tractor wheel weights, that I'm going to move over here with the tractor and boom, and pick up and probably let it hang there suspended. I'm suspecting probably at least 24 hours, just to be sure the winch brake holds and nothing's going to give way up there. I've got full confidence in all that I hung up there. If I didn't, I wouldn't have gone to all the trouble. But again, I hope you got a little something out of this video. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.